circle is spinning, and I think we are on the air. Hello, everybody. I'm Brad. I'm the host of Coach Cruise, and I have with me today Andrew from Funnel Heads. If you're
Hey,
familiar with
everybody.
the channel, I'm sure you've seen Andrew before. He's been on here several times, and yeah. So we're gonna talk a bunch of cruise stuff today, and thanks for joining us. I got Sadie over here already scratching up my arm. And what's good, everybody? We have Kevin and Will have checked in already. Hope you guys are doing okay. And anybody else that gets in on this chat, make sure to say what's up. And yeah, Andrew, let me allow you to introduce yourself and your channel and everything that is going on good with you.
Yeah, hey guys, Andrew from Funnelheads, missing 2/3 of Funnelheads. Rhett's already asleep, and Michelle just made her way to bed. She's exhausted after her work day, but yeah, I mean, just like any other cruise creator, we do cruise news, vlogs, lives, all that good stuff. Just recently got off the Carnival Ecstasy, so we've been just pouring out ecstasy videos, but we're almost done with that, and on to more like informational videos until our next cruise.
When is that for you? Did you book it?
Actually, it's kind of a surprise. It's not really a surprise. We don't really know exactly what we're doing because Rhett's 6th birthday is in March, and so actually right before this, before he went to bed, we were looking at several options for not only his birthday, but Michelle is in January, mine's in February, and then his is in March. So we usually do like a long vacation or cruise. So we're looking at a few different options and a different cruise brand, possibly, just because prices are very, very good. So nothing concrete yet. And then after that, we have the Carnival Pride out of London, which is like 24 days we have booked so far. So definitely have to save some money.
Well, and like you just mentioned, because of the prices being good, you don't have to save as much.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know just since just in the years that I started cruising, the prices have gone significantly down.
Mm-hmm.
Looked to plan 2 or 3 cruises, and then all of a sudden, oh, we got Tim here who is going to the MDR, the main dining room right now.
Oh, nice.
Great night. What ship are you on again, Tim? I want to say you're on the Vista, but I'm probably wrong. Maybe it's because so many people have been on the Vista recently. But I know you told me, but I've forgotten. But if you don't see this message because you just popped in for a second, I hope you have a great meal in the MDR. And yeah, I want to talk about the MDR. Thanks for saying that.
It's almost like it was planned, but it wasn't.
You just reminded me, and it's a great transition for some of our hot topics today. I know we've had a few people just jumping in right now. If you're just getting in here, like Tim, do what Tim did and say hey. And especially if you're new to myself or Andrew with Funnel Heads, definitely say, oh, we got Lynn here, and we got Bruce from Ocean to Ocean Travel. What's up, you two? Hope all is well. So we just had Tim saying he was going to the main dining room. And that has been a hot topic recently, especially with John Heald. For those of you that follow John Heald, he addressed a couple of these topics that we're going to hit on today. And the first one, we'll just say attire in general. There, are a number of people, I don't know if you want to call it old school or whatever, but are offended if people aren't dressed up nicely for dinner, nice slacks, nice top, nice dress, whatever the case may be. And yeah, so where do you stand on that, Andrew?
So I'm sure most people that have seen, me or my family, the channel before, kind of know we are pretty chill on almost everything. There's not a lot that bothers us. And if something does, it's literally over in like less than 5 seconds. So anything in regards to vacation, cruisings, getaways, like we are kind of in our bubble. We love interacting with everybody else, but we're not going to care if somebody's doing something else. Like that has no effect on us whatsoever. So we're like, kind of do what you want to do. We're going to do what we do. And honestly, we probably don't follow the rules to the main dining room to a T. I mean, especially on the more casual nights, I'm definitely in there in jeans sometimes, with, a collared shirt or a button down. And I'm sure people are offended by that. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're having a great time. I don't think it's, something to get offended by. It's definitely not something that should ruin somebody else's night. I mean, how much money, are we paying, saving up, looking forward to these trips, and then somebody else's actions are gonna, ruin the evening or ruin the cruise or, make it so much, frustration for yourself that you have to email the brand ambassador because of it. It's just wild to me.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's a great point too. It's like, I mean, yeah, I definitely could see somebody getting annoyed if that's a, like a pet peeve type of thing, but you can't let it get to the point where it's upsetting you and messing up your vacation, which, I think is a very good point. Now, me, I'm very casual, and honestly, I'll tell you my thing. And Anita taught me to do this, my wife, because she's a flight attendant, so she's taught me to pack light. So I try to pack. I try to pack light. So I'll pack like one pair of dress slacks and usually two dress shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, because I'm only going to wear, there's far enough days separated, and you're not probably going to get the pants that dirty anyway. I'm only wearing them for a short period of time.
Right.
So yeah, but the thing about it is too, is like, and this, being a creator and meeting all the different cruisers out there, there are some people you meet that maybe they're very, uppity, I guess you could say, but they're also very cool, good people.
Yeah.
And there are people that are very, laid back, relaxed, whatever. And they're also really good people.
Right.
And I mean, whatever ideas I had about people in general or whatever, a lot of that stuff has really been squashed because you just realize there's just so many good people out there, and they might have a little different personality. They might have a little bit of different beliefs and, things like that, but they're just really good people. And, who am I to, get upset because one person does this and and I do get upset about certain stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's stuff that upsets me, but yeah. So just off that topic for just a second, I want to thank Lynn here. And Sadie definitely wants to thank Lynn. For those of you that don't know, anybody that's new there, the thing we do on our super on Tuesdays is, this is why Sadie, this is her favorite day of the week, because she gets hot dogs for anybody that puts a $10 super chat. And if anybody does a $20 super chat, then she gets a hot dog and I do a shot. I still have plenty left in my Angels Envy bottle here, so it's going to last me a while. So high five for Lynn. And yeah, when it's a big piece, she has to hop off the chair and focus on the hot dog. So, and also what we started to do with the super chats is Lynn has started us off. We got exactly to 100 last week. So Lynn is numbers 1 through 10 because she gave $10. If somebody were to throw in $2, they would be, say, numbers 11 and 12. Once we reach 100, then I do a drawing for a shirt. I have my phone here. I say, hey, Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100, and whatever that number may be. If you are corresponding to that number, you win the Coach Cruise t-shirt. So that is how it works. And just want to say hi to a few more people who popped in. Fireball Steve also popped in. We mentioned Kevin already. Embarkation Nation is here. What's up, Embarkation Nation? Will has been here for the duration, and TikTok Sandy is here. Howdy to yourself. Let's see. And yeah, talking about Sadie there. So yeah. Another thing, and this is kind of related in terms of just getting to know your fellow cruiser, is one thing I believe strongly in. I believe very strongly in this, and I think most cruisers do too. And you can chime in on this as well, Andrew, what you feel. But I hate hearing about politics on a cruise ship. Yeah. I don't want to hear politics one way. I don't care if you're, bright blue. I don't care if you're dark red. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. You as a person, I want to learn about and what makes you tick. And, if you're a good person, you're a good person. It doesn't matter the politics you believe in and everything else. And I just think that, sometimes that can mess up a cruise, just like what we were talking about earlier. Is, if you're worried about, what somebody else thinks or believes in or whatever else like that, you're taking the focus on the person themselves. And, they could be a really good person just because, you might see things blue, they might see things red, or some might see it green, whatever. I'm not. So what do you think about politics on a cruise ship?
No, yeah, that's one thing that's always a tough conversation wherever you're at, even if you're at work or whatnot. So being on vacation on a cruise is not a time where I want to talk about that. And in fact, really anything stressful. So of course I'll talk about my job, but I don't want to get into the details and all the nitty gritty stuff. You want to escape from that. That's why you're going on vacation. So I think you're 100% right. Just to not bring it up at all, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we are in agreement on that. Okay. So we talked about attire in the dining room, and I guess so. We're both pretty much the same. For me, I guess the draw the line is, be casual, but also don't be tacky. And some people might say wearing a polo shirt and cargo shorts is tacky. So right. I don't know. I don't even know if tacky is the right word there, because for me, most days when I go to the main dining room, if I got cargo shorts on, which is, what I typically wear, and then a nicer shirt, that's it. I feel like I'm very acceptable, and, everybody should be fine with that outfit.
Honestly, everybody just needs to worry about themselves, right? As long as you're, being nice, being polite, are taking in the cruise, I don't understand why people always have to focus on everything everybody else is doing. Just have a good time, relax. You're on a ship, you're eating, 5-course dinner, just enjoy the moment. So, but I'm 100%. Now I know with attire, we can talk about the hats, but there's also one other thing in the dining room that may be worth mentioning. And I know everybody, or I don't know about everybody, but the 1% that hated this was the tables having the tablecloth being removed and just having the, just the nice wood tables. I don't know about you, that's something that didn't bother us at all. I was actually for it because the amount of laundry it saves the crew from doing and resources. I was like, go for it. I think it looks great. Takes them 5 seconds to clean the table instead of, trying to comb through breadcrumbs and whatever else is on there. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, you know what? I remember when that was a hot topic, and honestly, it doesn't bother me the slightest. I don't. Tablecloth doesn't do anything. I don't even think of. I can see it looking back now, but I never thought of oh, there's a tablecloth, so it's fancier or whatever.
Right.
I didn't think about it being more fancy until they said it was being taken off and people were getting upset by it. But Will, wanted to thank you here, and
Oh, nice.
high five for Will there, and you can jump off the chair now. Yeah, and also in relation to the discussion here, Usnavi Michelle,
Yeah.
she says politics and religion have their place. It's not on a cruise ship, and I very much agree with that.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, we got Michael who's checked in now. I wanted to say hi. Fireball Steve, I had put up on the screen a little while ago. Yeah, and Sandra agrees. No politics. Let's party. Yeah, Kevin says politics and religion are normally the two. And Kevin says, so no Speedo. Yeah. I think I would frown upon that one, Kevin. I would be the person that would like, oh my God, they were
like, quick, Brett, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Or Michelle.
And let's see, we got Brad H here. I know he's going to be in Cozumel the same day that me and my big group are. I think he's on the Glory. Travel Adventures with Eric B is here.
Oh,
and
what's up, Eric?
I think we're all caught up.
Nice.
Okay, so Andrew, you are a Marine.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Yes, and thank you for your service, which gets to the next topic. And we're still in the dining room now. And this was another topic brought up by John Heald recently. And he said, I mean, there were some people that were raising complaints that, hats are in the rule book for Carnival. Like Carnival, if you look in the rules, it says no hats in the main dining room. But there, and we've all seen, gentlemen that are very proud of their service to our country, whether it be Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, whatever, and they wear a hat signifying, what branch they came from and everything, and some of them, will wear it to the main dining room, and there are some people that have raised a beef that they shouldn't be allowed to wear hats in the main dining room. And why is Carnival not approaching these people and telling them to take your hat off, sir,
Right.
even though you served our country? So being a Marine yourself.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a Marine veteran. Would I wear a hat to the main dining room? No. Do I have a problem with it? Absolutely not. And to ask a crew member or anyone to tell a veteran to take off their hat is absolutely insane and kind of makes my blood boil a little bit. But I mean, I would never do it, and that's fine. But they deserve the right to do whatever they want, honestly. I mean, within, obviously boundaries. But if they want to wear a hat, let them wear a hat. I mean, is it? I don't understand what the world's coming to. And honestly, I'd like to think that it's only like 1 or 2% of actual people that, have these complaints, and they complain so much that it trickles through. I would like to think that most people, aren't saying these things, but I guess I never know. I try to look for the good in everyone. So,
you know what? And that's a good point that you just brought up, because I think that's how John Heald Vince. Like being an ambassador, you can't just lay into people the way you want to. Because Lord knows, and you've probably experienced this as well, there's been a couple interactions that I've had, with this channel when people, don't like you, or they don't like something you say, and they just, come attack you or whatever. And, usually I'm the type of person that, if you snap at me, I'm going to snap back. But you have to be a little bit more professional and everything. And obviously, being the brand ambassador, you can't be as opinionated as you might otherwise be. Right. So I think it is probably more like what you're saying, like 1 or 2% of people that are just really, really stuck up. And it's his opportunity to point out the obvious. Like the stuff that he points out that you know, he gets mad about and things like that is just so clearly, you know, everybody is going to think this way.
Yeah,
Very
and
rarely does he pick topics that
that's
are
a great way of putting it too, because I think it almost solves his problem. Like he posts it, obviously no name, well, first name, no last name, and like I think the people can actually see how maybe silly they're being, or see how many people are on the opposite side of, you know, them being right or not right. It's not about that, but they just always assume that they have the majority of, you know, I'm right and this is the way it should be, and that's usually not the case, if ever.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you a story, and the lady's name was Sally. I still remember her name, but I did actually take a shot. Like I said, I just said how I try to be a little bit more professional and not react and things like that. But you know, with the channel and stuff, I just came off the Carnival Magic. And as a matter of fact, I was booked on the Magic again just before New Year's. So, you know, I mean, if you're a cruise lover, cruise nut, whatever, even before I became a cruise creator, I would do tons of research. I would go on multiple cruise pages, try to learn stuff about the ship, learn stuff about the ports from people that have been to those ports, things like that. Go on YouTube like crazy. And anyway, so I was on Magic, and you know, a Magic page like a week or two, 1 or 2 cruises away from the one that I just got on. And I said, hey, you know, I shared one of my bar crawl videos on there. And I said, hey, this is from the Carnival Magic, and I see that you guys don't have a bar crawl planned. I'm like, check this one out. If anybody wants any help on how to get this set up, whatever, hit me up. I will help you out. But, you know, this is what we did, and see how much fun everybody had. And, you know, if it's something you're interested in or whatever. And
like that.
she comes in, and first off, there was like 15 people right away. Like, love, oh yeah, let's do it. You know, this sounds like fun. That's awesome. You know, whatever else. So there's already like people that are already firmly said, yeah, we'd love to do this. And, you know, I responded to them, yeah, sure. You know, the only thing is I'm not going to be on this cruise.
Right. Somebody else has to like take
the somebody, but I will more than help you, you know, tell you what you need to do and everything else like it. So she's like, oh, this is like a pet peeve. So like, oh, you're just trying to promote your channel, you know, and I'm like, okay, yeah, in the long run, I guess you could look at it as, you know, promotion, but I said, I don't think many people know this that suggest that it takes thousands of views for you to even make a couple bucks.
Yeah.
You know, the most, you know, we'll make money on is the super chats, and we only get 60% of that, right? Yeah. So it's a long game, if anything else. But, you know, I thought of an analogy earlier, and it's kind of like sharing. You go on cruise pages because you want to find information that's relevant to that particular cruise. Like, I'll never go on a cruise page, and let's say it's the Wonder of the Seas or something. I'm not going to go on the Wonder of the Seas and share a video I did on, you know, the Carnival Mardi Gras or something like that, because that's completely irrelevant. That would be total spam and everything. Right. But if I'm going on a cruise page and I just came off the Carnival Magic, and I'm sharing information on the Carnival Magic and offering to answer questions and everything else, guess what? That's what the whole cruise page is for.
Yeah, well, yeah, if anything, you're trying to make it better, or at least give them ideas of something that they could do to have a little bit more fun. But yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine, because all the time, like, I love to post videos or answers to questions on pages that are related to what somebody asks me, and I get that all the time, and I'm like, I promise I'm just trying to help, but it's like, it's easier for you to watch this video that I did than for me to type out 3 paragraphs, you know. But
yeah, no, it is 100%. So yeah, anybody out there watching, you know, I mean, if there's ever a cruise creator that's sharing relevant information for your particular cruise, don't be upset about it. That's why the cruise page is there, is so people can learn about that particular cruise ship. And now it might be something that you're not particularly interested in, but if it, is relevant, directly relevant to the cruisers or some of the cruisers even on that particular cruise ship, then let it go. But there's always that one. There's always that one that's got to sweat the small stuff, right? So yeah, that is a pet peeve of mine. So I said something to the effect of, because all these people were saying like, oh yeah, this is great, whatever. And I replied something back, and it was a little bad on my part. Well, if Sally doesn't mind you all having some fun, I make sure you message me and I'll, help you get it going or whatever. And she saw that because, she replied back to me to go F myself or something like that. And I was like, okay. I'm fine with that. So obviously I wasn't too upset about it. I got a little chuckle out of it, but what it is. So let's see. Cruise Nuts is checked in, and Will pointed this out. I don't know if you saw Andrew today, but Derek put a video out and he said he was fired up. I watched it and I'm like, what were you fired up about, Derek? So somebody had posted on his group page, the Island Time Travel Facebook page, that it got mad at Derek for talking about Carnival cruise ships and suggesting people should cruise or could cruise or have fun on a Carnival cruise ship, basically calling Carnival trash and like the Walmart of cruising, and just basically suggesting that anybody going on Carnival ships was of lower standards or something to that effect. So he got obviously upset. You and I are both Carnival cruisers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
I've never understood that at all. I hear that quite a bit, and I don't know what cruise line they're going on, but we've done Carnival, Royal. Now we're looking into MSC and Norwegian. Maybe if I take out a second mortgage on my home, I can go on a 4-night Disney cruise. But I don't know where they're coming from, but I mean, we had fun on Royal, we had fun on Carnival. They're very similar, little differences here and there. I mean, I just don't understand the Walmart. People just get opinions and you can't change their mind whatsoever. But again, I'm going to have fun wherever I am. It doesn't matter. I mean, I might have less fun on one brand to another, but that's just preference. Honestly, they're all great.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I've been pretty loyal to Carnival the past few years, but prior to that, I had been on some other lines, and Derek pointed this out, and it's something I've really grown fond of, is all the live music that's available on Carnival ships. Like if you don't have to walk too far. If you're on decks 4 or 5 or 3 and you walk around, chances are you're going to run into live music. Somebody's going to be playing live music somewhere. Now, one of the ships that I'd been on previously is another ship owned by Carnival, but it caters, I would say, more to a little older crowd, a little more reserved crowd, and that's Holland America. When I was on Holland America, I remember I enjoyed it, but they had some people playing the harp and things like that, and it was more, I guess, elegant, more I guess refined, if you want to call that, not as much fun and silliness. And I mean, I just like Carnival because I feel like you can get a little bit of everything that you want. If you want relaxation, you can find that on the Serenity deck. I mean, you can be there and be pretty, content, and it's going to be pretty quiet, and you can take a nap and sunbathe and not be around kids and things like that, because, obviously, being the family brand with Carnival, you might worry about that if you don't have little kids, and you might not want to be around that. And there's a place for you to escape that, and it's the Serenity deck. Then Disney, for example, you don't have a casino in Disney, so people that want to travel Disney, first off, you got to be wealthy.
Yeah.
Or you just aren't in the cruise.
No knocks on Disney. I would love to go on a Disney cruise, but they're just insanely priced, and most of them are very short too. It's usually 3 or 4 nights. But
And it's like, do I want to go on a Disney cruise or do I want to go on 5 Carnival cruises?
I've literally said that same statement.
I'm choosing the 5 Carnival cruises.
Right.
Yeah. But and and Derek also mentioned, I know he's a big stand-up comedy guy. He loves going to the stand-up comedy, and I mean, you get 4 comedians, and you get probably 3 different sets from each one of them. You also get the theater type shows. Now, I will say this, I think Royal and Norwegian and those other lines, some of their bigger ships, they've had, I guess, a higher standard in entertainment in terms of exactly the amount of work and special effects and everything else, I guess you could say. But I think Carnival's starting to rise up to that level of competition.
Yeah, I think they've realized that maybe they got a little behind or stale, like with some of their other class ships in the certain areas. But I think the Grand
Oh, froze up there a little bit. Well, I think I'm still here. So when Andrew, there you go. You froze up for just a little bit.
I don't know where it cut out, but I was saying, like, I think with Grand Central and those shows, they've really stepped up their game, and I love that area too. Just because as a family, we don't have to sit down and see the show. We can literally walk by, and our young one can catch glimpses of everything going on. So.
Right. Absolutely. Real quick, I know because we had a bunch of people jump in here, and Sadie wanted me to remind you all, due to the scratches on my arms. We have Lynn with numbers 1 through 10 and Will with numbers 11 through 21. And what that signifies for the new people on here is once we get to 100, and the thing is, if you do a super chat this week, that carries over if we don't reach 100. So like right now we have 20 numbers of the 100 that we're going to draw. And if in fact we get to 100 tonight, we will do that drawing. But if we don't, then we will do it next week when we reach 100. So let's say we get up to 50 today, and then we get another 50 or 60 next week. We'll do that drawing next week, and it always goes to 100. So let's say we're at 90 and somebody does a $20 super chat. Well, 10 of those would be with the 100, and then 10 would start a new one. For example, Lynn, she was one of the ones that, she got in 1 week, and I think we only had 50 or 60 in at that point. And then she wasn't on the next show, but she won. And I had to message her, and look at that.
She said, feed that puppy.
Speaking of Lynn, she says, feed that puppy. And I shall. And another high five for Lynn there. High five. You don't get the hot dog till you have that. There you go.
Make it work for it.
Yeah. So thank you again, Lynn. So if we don't reach that 100 today, Lynn and Will, they will still be in the raffle or drawing, whatever you want to call it. And Lynn won a shirt last week. And then another example, because we had TikTok Sandy, she did a $20 super chat, and she wasn't on that show that she won either. But she had done the previous week, and she was the first 20. And then I had to message her, and I'm like, hey, you won. And she's like, what'd I win? What are you talking about?
Great idea.
You forgot about the super chat. So yeah, and it doesn't have to be 10 or 20. Like I said, it could be $1. And if you were to put $1 super chat right now, you would be number 31, for example, because Lynn has 1 through 10, Will has 11 through 20, and then Lynn has 21 through 30 again. So that's how it goes. So yeah, any other thoughts on the Carnival Cruise Line not being regarded highly?
I honestly just don't know where it comes from. Like, I guess maybe some of those people have gone on Carnival. I feel like a lot of them haven't, and they just already have this, notion in their mind that, somebody said that once before and it stuck and now they're going to use it. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe they all have gone on Carnival, but again, you've been on other brands. I've been on other brands. Yeah, cruising's cruising. It's fun. You make the most of it. Again, some things are better on certain ships than others, but it's still a cruise and you're on vacation. So I don't get it.
No, yeah, absolutely. And it's the people make it more than anything else. Like every cruise just meets some absolutely wonderful people. This cruise was no exception. Mm-hmm. Met some amazing people that I will stay in contact with. And for those people out there, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's something I forgot to mention. Let's get this going right here. You see that ticker there? And this ticker applies to both me and Andrew, and I'll tell you why. Now, the goal for me is, it was actually Andrew and I shared the same goal because we have approximately the same number of subscribers, within, I don't know, 50, 80, something like that. So we both had the goal of hitting 2,000 because we've talked about this before the end of the year. And that still is the goal. But then I'm like, you know what is unique is by hitting 2,000, and it's going to be 2023. I'm like, why not?
That's a great idea. When you wrote that, I was like, genius.
Well, if that's all it takes to be a genius. But yeah, so that's the new goal. And then another expression, and I think this was in Life's Little Handbook, if anybody remembers that book when it came out, is that the quote was, in order to hit the target, aim just above it. So that's my other thinking. By having a goal of 2023, if I come up just a little bit short, or we come up just a little bit short of the target, at least we'll be over that 2,000. So here's the other thing. If you're not already a subscriber, if you're watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on replay, that is Funnel Heads. That's Andrew there. And, obviously I'm Coach Cruz, but we're both about in the same ballpark. We're both trying to hit that 2,000 or better by the new year. And if you enjoy the conversation, the chat today, and everything, by all means, we would love, and you'd be doing us a big favor by hitting that subscribe button and checking out the videos for a while. And if you watch us for a couple months, 3 months, whatever, and you're like, whatever, then unsubscribe. And at least give us a chance.
Sticking around. So unfortunately, if you don't care for our content or faces, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. So
exactly. But yeah, so that's the goal. And most of you on here, I believe, are already subscribed to one or both of us. But yeah, anybody watching this on replay, like I said, would love. And, and then Andrew, I know you can relate to this, and other people out there that may not be able to, maybe be interested in the struggle or whatever. But, sometimes you look at your subscribers and your subscriber count, if you have a goal, and then you get a few and you're like, you feel really good about it. And then the next day you look at your subscriber count and it's not going at all. Like, it hasn't even gone up, not one tick or whatever. But the day before you might have gotten 10 new ones and you feel all happy about it. And yeah, so it's like one of those things. And now that I have this goal of 2023, I look at my phone several times a day and I'll hit the refresh button and I'm like, come on, go up.
It's so silly, but it's so true. I mean,
yeah.
I find myself, especially in the morning, I wake up and I check, and if it gone down or stayed still, I'm like, oh. If it goes up by a couple, I'm like, yay.
And so Kevin is with both of us. I appreciate that, Kevin.
I appreciate you.
I know Andrew does too. Travel adventures with Eric B. I guess since Carnival's a little cheaper, some folks feel the need to trash them. I completely agree. It's all about the people and the experiences. So we are definitely in agreement there. Travel adventures with Eric. And cruising is fun anytime, says Hey Eric B. So yeah, Eric with Travel Adventures, it's another channel you could go check out there. And like what's that? Great minds think alike. So
Right.
I think we're all in agreement on that one. I had okay. So you know what? We're not done with the hot topics here. You
Yeah,
brought up
these are
another
just
one.
ones that we came up with in like 5 seconds. So I'm sure if you guys like this kind of video, we can definitely find some more things that people complain about.
So one you brought up was guest slamming cabin doors. So I'll let you take the lead on that one.
Yeah, no, and this one, I mean, we're guilty of it sometimes. I mean, especially because we have a 5-year-old. He's about to be 6, but we have a stroller, we have bags, beach bag, wherever. I mean, sometimes we're going out for literally the day with almost everything that was in our room, and like we just can't get the door and it just slams. And I understand. I mean, we've had people literally come out and be like, really? And I get it. I totally get why people, I mean, somebody could be napping, somebody could have a young kid, others just don't like the noise of the slamming door. So I understand that. If you can help it, I think most people just don't even think about it or know that it's happening. But if we can actually inform or at least put it out there, like, hey, you have neighbors all around, just hold the door, let it slowly close. I think everybody would be much better.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I'd like to say that I've been cognizant of that all the time, but there's been times where I'm like, I walk by, I'm like, oh, I hear the door slam, and I'm like, oh, like I didn't mean to do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do forget every now and then. So I'm sure it's not intentional, or people are, for some people at least, I don't think that it's necessarily them being bad. It's just maybe needing to be a little bit more observant.
Mhm.
And we got Ann checking in. She was on the Magic cruise with us, and we had a blast. You were on both bar crawls, right, Ann? I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 100% certain you were. Just confirming for the sake of the show. So Brad says I have to bring my bag wherever I go. She won't let me cruise solo. Brad is our resident comedian.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to meeting Brad, hopefully when we're in Cozumel on New Year's Eve.
Are you going to one of the like
Paradise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like Paradise Beach a lot. I don't know. We're planning on doing a video coming up here shortly comparing. I think there's only 3 of those like all-inclusive type things. There may be more, but we only know of 3: the Playa, Mia, of course, Mr. Sancho's, and then Paradise. But I'm gonna try to like rank them and stuff. But we had a great time there.
And yeah, somebody was telling me about Nachi Kokum, I think it was.
Oh, I'll have to look it up. I haven't heard
Oh, there's Passion Island. There's a lot of other, I think El Cids or something is another one. But yeah, there's a lot of them. I think Cozumel is probably hands down the best place to go for all-inclusive beaches. I mean, there's probably a dozen of them, scattered around the island there. Yeah. And they all, but I definitely, I think Mr. Sancho's is like the king of the all-inclusives, but Paradise Beach has come on strong. And I'd done a video on that, and I asked people that had normally gone to Mr. Sancho's, and they picked Paradise Beach over Mr. Sancho's. I know Derek and I were talking about that on the cruise on a show just Sunday, and yeah, he thinks that way. And honestly, I think I'm leaning toward Paradise Beach as well. It's one of those things that there's not much that separates it.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Well, that was my question. What do you think, like, kind of makes Paradise just a little bit better?
So, one thing I mentioned to Derek on Sunday is Mr. Sancho's is trying to sell you more. than Paradise Beach. Once you get in with Paradise Beach, for the most part, they leave you alone.
That's true.
Have all your waiters and everything that are serving you. And I think, honestly, at least in my experience, when I've ordered food at Paradise Beach, it's come out much faster. I've gotten much faster. There's times at Mr. Sancho's I've ordered some food and it'll take a long time. And I know they're super busy, right. But it's just come out faster. The frozen drinks, I would say, are pretty much the same between Mr. Sancho's and
what did you think about, like, I like and it might be different each time you go or whatever, but when we were there, they served us 40s as far as like the light beer goes and stuff like that. And at first we were like, that's really cool. But then once we got to thinking of it, we were like, oh, this is going to get really warm really fast. Even in the bucket, like we kept having, them bring ice, but I almost prefer them just to give us the cans like at Mr. Sancho's. But I don't know if that was just like when we visited or if that's a all the time situation.
Okay. Well, in Cruise Nuts, they are resident experts. They fly directly to Cozumel 4 to 5 times a year. So they know 80% of the island, they were just saying. And Cruise Nuts, I actually have a friend that's a dive master in Cozumel that lives in Cozumel. So I chat with her regularly. And she does scuba diving for a living and trains people to be scuba dive instructors. She's like the instructor that teaches the instructor. So she's up there as far as the she's definitely filled us in on a lot of the island and everything. And Cruise Nuts, I would agree with you. Paradise Beach is a little bit more laid back, but it's still enough of a party. I mean, you still have the music and everything going on. What I don't think you have, they have one gigantic pool, whereas Mr. Sancho's has 2 separate pools. And I think that party is going on. And that first pool on the left as you walk in, I think that's more of the party pool. To the right, it might not be quite as much of a party. And then, of course, both of them have the ocean. And I don't know. I would agree it's a little bit more laid back. But, I mean, it's not like laid back to the point of you can't have fun, like you can't have a party. Like if you are there with friends and everything, the music's going, you got the pool, you got the ocean, you got the drinks, you got the food, you got everything else. And so I think it's okay. Her name is not Eva, is it? Oh, no. Cruise Nuts. It is Megan Riley. And I forget what scuba dive shop she's working for now, but
we actually did we were scuba certified. We haven't been in a little while, but our first dive we did, it was like that Discover Scuba through Carnival, and it was actually in Cozumel. And just being in that water, seeing everything, we're like, all right, we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? To those that haven't scuba dived, maybe just snorkeled, and Andrew, because you kind of did the same thing as me, you have the license, so you're definitely more advanced than I am in regards to that. But I did the try dive or discovery dive, whatever you want to call it. And, my friend Megan, she's the one who took me on it. And it was really great for those of you that might be hesitant to check it out. And I can set you up with her info too. Anybody that's interested in doing it. If you do it through the cruise lines, it's going to cost you probably over $100 for sure.
Yeah, I think it's like 140 or something for even Discover.
Now with her, I can almost guarantee it's going to be under $100. And the great thing, with my friend Megan, that, with me, and she took my wife Anita out, is she would be with us like the whole way. I mean, she'd swim like 10 feet, turn around, and she's like, are you okay? You okay? And, she goes over all the hand signals and everything that you're supposed to use and all that kind of stuff. But it's like you're entering another world. Like when you're snorkeling, it's kind of like you're in a really badass aquarium. But when you're scuba diving, you're in a world you don't belong in, Yeah,
it feels like you're doing something wrong, but it's so right.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you've never been scuba diving or like just scared of it, like that Discover Scuba is absolutely perfect because they only take you down like 10 feet, maybe 15 at some spots, but you get to experience everything. I mean, it's just amazing. I would say it's probably very similar to what people, like astronauts go to space, like that. Their feel obviously it's completely different feeling, but like
No.
you're not supposed to be doing it almost, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I think that's a good comparison because I mean, obviously, if you're in space, you're somewhere you don't belong, and I mean, we're not, as we are created, we're not created to be underwater. We're cheating. We have the breathing, thing going, the oxygen, and that's why we're able to be in that world where we don't belong. Much like an astronaut, having their spacesuit on and their air and everything else like that. I don't think it's too different, except it's a heck of a lot cheaper than taking a spaceship up to
Right.
that experience is going to cost slightly more than scuba diving. So,
right.
Let's see. Anne says, and Anne, yeah, we were with a group of people, and Anne was so sweet at the end, hugging everybody and just getting mushy and everything. But it was a truly wonderful cruise. Anne says, is there a preferred third-party excursion company you use? I'd use Vider, and they've been great. You know what? Vider is one of the bigger name ones, and I found that I think they get more of a cut. So the excursions that I've booked through them have been a little bit more expensive than some cheaper third-party. One third-party company I've used that I've had pretty good success with is shoreexcursioneer.com. Shoreexcursioneer.com. And it's the same type. Well, I mean, basically, if you go to shoreexcursioneer.com, you can type in the name of the cruise ship that you're going on, the date, and it'll pop up your entire itinerary. And then they'll show you all the vendors that you can book through them. And what I found is I found stuff a lot cheaper going that route. And oh, Lynn's taken off. Oh, okay. We'll see you, Lynn, if you haven't already signed off. And thanks for the super chats for sure. You will stay in that drawing. And yeah, so the other thing, and Andrew, I don't know if you've done this as well, but some people really like to book with the cruise line because they feel safer. Like some people, that's a big fear of being left, and understandably,
right.
But, I was 99%, well, maybe not 99%, but close to well over 90% of these vendors, they're going to be in super trouble, and probably nobody's ever going to use them if they leave people,
So like what I will say is like before Rhett, we always did third party vendors. And if he wasn't with us for a specific, cruise, we do third party vendors, but because obviously he's in camp for a lot of the shore excursions because he's just not old enough. That's why we tend to go through Carnival, because obviously that would be terrible and we would never forgive ourselves if anything were to happen. Yeah, I would totally agree with you. We always used to use third party. We never had an issue, and it was always usually at least half price of what the cruise company sells, because of course they're taking a much a large cut of that. So
right. Well, and that's a great point, and this is something I didn't plan on talking about, but this is something I also did a video on way back. Let's say, for example, okay, Belize. Here's a good one. Carnival offers an excursion that goes to Shark Ray Alley, and let's say it costs, I don't know, $120 through Carnival. Okay, now if I go to say someplace like Shore Excursioneer, I can find that almost identical excursion for say $79.99. But you might say, well, yeah, but that's $40 cheaper. That's great, but I still want to go with Carnival. Well, here's the beauty. You book with Carnival, you pay your $120 per person. Okay. But then Carnival has this shore excursion guarantee.
Yeah.
So basically what you do is, and what I always do if I'm trying to get a deal, I'll search up the stuff that Carnival has that I want to do. And then I'll try to find another vendor that's offering that for $30, $40 cheaper. And then I go to that shore excursion guarantee. I book through Carnival if I want to book through Carnival and say, oh, hey, Carnival, here I'm filling out your shore excursion guarantee. I found this for $30 cheaper. And they'll ask you stuff like, well, does this excursion also offer lunch? Yes, it does, just like Carnival. Does this excursion also offer open bar? Yes, it does, just like Carnival. And then basically, they'll make a determination like, okay, yeah, this is pretty much the same type of excursion. So what we're going to do is, let's say the price was $30 difference. They'll give you $30 to match that price plus another 10%. So they'll give you $33. So you could still book through Carnival, but still get the savings of going through, another vendor, if that's something that interests people. And like I said, I did a video, or any of you could message me, and I'd be happy to help. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do, actually. So Will says shore excursion there as well. All right, we're starting to creep up there in time.
It's quick.
Yeah. And Z Show is checking in. Z, you definitely weren't first today. Z is usually one of the first ones in. I had a question. We're in December, right? We are less than 3 weeks away from Christmas. I wanted to ask a question, and Andrew gave me the idea to ask it like a 2-part question. So we're going to say the first question is, what is your favorite classic Christmas movie? And by classic, we're going to say more than 20 years old, right? Is that what you?
Yeah, it's not like something like that. It doesn't have to be exact, but like just kind of an older movie that you've watched 100 times, before, that you always have to watch, like on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, sometime in December.
Right. So let's get a classic one, and then let's get a newer one. So a newer Christmas movie. So do the classic one first. So those of you that are still on here, throw in the chat a classic Christmas movie that you were fond of, that maybe you grew up with, or maybe not even grew up with, but okay, Z is chiming in first. He says Die Hard, Home Alone, well, Lethal Weapon. Oh, yeah. I guess in Lethal Weapon, yeah, they were selling Christmas trees. You were the first person. There is a debate on whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But I've never heard anybody suggest Lethal Weapon as a Christmas movie. So yeah, that's a new one there. But Michael Allen, Christmas Vacation. And I will admit that's one that I've been very fond of. I would also say A Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out. That was a great movie. And I was still a kid when that movie came out. Sandra says, let me put it on the screen. Mixed Nuts is my favorite Christmas movie. I've watched it twice this month.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because I was going to be embarrassed. Like, is this?
Yeah, I probably should be, but I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, you're going to have to explain that one, Sandra. It's like, what is Mixed Nuts about? Who's in it? And what's the basic plot, if you can throw that in the chat. Z says Lethal Weapon, the first one at the beginning, says Jingle Bell Rock. Well, I'll tell you what, you're being very generous towards qualifying a movie as a Christmas movie by having Jingle Bell Rock. But okay, that's an argument. We'll give you that one, Z. Michael Allen says there is no debate. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I agree right there.
And Michael owns a Red Ryder BB gun too. So he's putting them all into there. Fireball Steve's a Christmas Story fan. Brad H. Now he is definitely hitting the or the classic Christmas movie with Miracle on 34th Street. And then he says, Larry the Cable Guy. I thought, oh, and there's the comedy again.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with a newer Christmas movie. A newer Christmas movie, one that's been in the past 20 years or earlier. Brad H says Scrooged. Is that the past 20 years? That one seems like it might be older, but close enough.
So I know Rhett's favorite older Christmas movie, we've watched it already a few times, is Home Alone. He laughs hysterical that whole movie, and he even does all the little, antics that Macaulay Culkin does in there. And but me and Michelle, I think, is hands down National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We watched that 100 times in December, easy.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely. I mean, almost all the National Lampoon movies are great, And then here's another one I really like, a newer one. Mike, good call on Elf. That's really good. Okay. I love Steve Martin. I mean, I was speaking of holiday movies. Arguably my favorite holiday movie of all time is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy. Now, here you go, Brad. Now, this does not surprise me at all.
That's a great
one. That does not surprise me at all that Brad would throw Bad Santa up there. And that is my favorite.
The second one was terrible, but the first one's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, the first one. I even they have Bad Santa, and then they have the bad version, which is Badder Santa. That's the version that I No, that's yeah, I don't know. That one is not for the faint of heart, I guess. If you're into Christmas movies that are all mushy and warm-hearted and everything, then Bad Santa might not be for you. But if you have a warped sense of humor like myself, that might be right up your alley. And Brad H, obviously. So I mean, there's a couple things more that we could have got into, but honestly, like you just pointed out, Andrew, this hour went blazing fast.
It's all right. There'll be more Tuesdays.
Absolutely. And again, this is the first show I've done in a long time where I didn't do a shot, which is surprising. So I might have to do one on my own after this. Speaking of super chats, though, we had Lynn will move on next week with 1 through 10, Will 11 through 20, and then Lynn again 21 through 30. So again, anytime you do a super chat, if we don't do the drawing that particular show, you stay in the drawing until we reach 100. And like I said, if we match your corresponding number, then you're going to win a shirt that week. Z says, yeah, I think Home Alone. Joe Pesci, I think he just finished Goodfellas, and he could not curse on Home Alone. It's so hilarious. Oh yeah. Joe Pesci, that's an underrated actor. He is definitely a great actor. So I think that's about it. Andrew, is there anything else you wanted to throw in? You wanted to talk about the channel a little bit more? Or?
No, I mean, I think we hit kind of a little bit on everything. We got a little off topic, but it was all good cruise related. And I appreciate you, bringing me on again. And if you guys like this type of stuff, we can definitely do more of it. So.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I honestly, I really like how the show went because we did hit so many different topics, and I think a lot of those topics people have interest in or opinion on. So yeah, it was good. It was good. Definitely get into that. And also, and if anybody has any ideas for cruise topics or something that you would like us to discuss on future shows, by all means, hit myself up or Andrew. Andrew has his Facebook page, Funnelheads, and of course, I have my Facebook page, Coach Cruise. That's another one we're trying to hit a milestone on. We are, and Sadie is just going away on a bone over here. Can't hear that in the background, but last check for Facebook, we had 965 group members. So just 35 to go to hit 1,000 in that. Sandy is on here, TikTok Sandy, that is, Sandra Yu, and she has the TikTok up to 1,000. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're desperately, both of us, Andrew and I, both trying to hit 2,000 before the end of the new year. And today was one of those days where I kept looking at the thing and like, no new subscribers, no new subscribers. So somebody out there, a couple of you, hopefully like 10 of you, hit subscribe so I don't have nightmares tonight. So I didn't get any new subscribers. And the same
I'm going to go cry myself to sleep.
Like, what am I doing wrong? Nobody knows subscribing.
Why doesn't anybody like me?
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you once again. Thanks, do another show soon, and everybody have a great week. I'll probably be back on Sunday. I'm probably going to follow up Derek on Island Time. I did that this past Sunday, and like I said, trying to make that push to hit that 2,000, and I'm not going to slow down until we get there. So
there you go.
We're going to try to make it happen. But all right, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Andrew, and we'll see you all later.
Take care.